So when I started this YouTube journey, there was a couple of things I really wanted to do. One was get good at playing about with camera stuff, because I love it as a hobby. Photography, videography, GoPros, drones, all that sort of stuff. I've got really into it, and I really enjoy the storytelling aspect of videography and photography. The other side was just having an outlet where I could chat about fitness and training and diet, lifestyle, all these different things. But I didn't want to be another fitness vlog or fitness influencer. So I want this channel to be about more of how fitness and strength training and all that sort of stuff has improved my life, but it'll not just be calorie deficit. Here's a recipe, here's how to get abs, here's a six-pack. Because fitness to me is a lot deeper than that, it's a lot more than that. I want to talk more about the philosophy of fitness. Is there a philosophy of fitness? But the impact and the other stuff that's probably not being talked about as much in the same way. But anyway, on a day-to-day basis, I talk about sort of fear and anxiety with clients, and I haven't done a video on this, but back in the day, I struggled massively with social anxiety and panic attacks, and I'm taking beta blockers and going to hypnotherapy and all this sort of craziness. So a guy said to me, your stress level's like a speedometer, and if you're getting an email you don't like, or someone sends something you don't like, your rev counter's just going into the red, and you're panicking and you're stressing, and it's bringing on a panic attack. And then when you think about panicking, you panic worse, and this whole sort of spiral happened. And what happened for me is I became very sort of introverted. So although I worked in gym, I was never an extrovert anyway, but although I worked in gyms, my circle became less and less. And in my early 20s, I loved personal training because I was working one-to-one with guys. But if I had to take even a group induction of 3 or 4 people, it was panic stations and whatever, and I was really uncomfortable. Now, I am by no means any sort of expert in a lot of things, but I think the guys watching this channel maybe appreciate, oh, there's a guy there, seems like he's arsing about loving life, but in reality, you know, we all have our sort of demons, and my sort of history was anxiety, and really bad anxiety. A massive thing that helped me, and again, this is about me and it's not necessarily for you, but hopefully you'll get something out of it. I think you want to break away from comfort, and I think that's where you really find your bit of growth. And I think that's why the sea swimming's got really popular, where people are living in these little bubbles of comfort, and when you get into the water you go, it's fucking cold. It's not nice. And then you start to actually enjoy it, and afterwards you feel really good, and later on that day you feel totally buzzing that you've done it, and you know, you give yourself a wee mini pat in the back. And Jiu Jitsu was also a massive help for me. Like my early white belt, blue belt days at Jiu Jitsu, I had to go and throw up in the changing rooms, you know, in the toilets, and a lot of it just being a bit of a perfectionist or competitive or whatever it is, but I had to win, and I wasn't technically good enough to win, so I was gassing out and then going and having to throw up. And now, like being better at jiu-jitsu, I embrace that chaos, and I've got very used to being comfortable in the uncomfortable. And I think that's my sort of bit of a nugget for anyone watching today is, you know, look at your life and say, right, okay, the human condition is to try and make it more comfortable for yourself, but how can I make it just slightly more uncomfortable? So when I'm teaching someone like their calisthenics, you know, people are going into handstands as adults. It's a scary thing to do, but now for like me going into handstand, it doesn't annoy me, because I've had safe exposure, which I've gradually expanded to the point where I can do handstands pretty much anywhere, and it doesn't really freak me out. But I think in the modern world, you know, we're constantly hearing this thing, especially in fitness, you know, you can eat all the food you want and still lose weight. That's not really true. There has to be some level of restriction. There has to be some level of hunger. There has to be some level of discomfort. The trick is trying to find levels of discomfort that you can dip in and out of and try and expand your discomfort zone, or expand your comfort zone, whatever way you want to think about it. And over time you do get that wee bit sort of better at it. And don't get me wrong, I still struggle. The thought of doing a Jiu Jitsu competition again, because I'm out of the loop for a couple of years. I will end up probably doing one at brown belt at some stage, because I got my brown belt last year and I haven't competed at brown, and I competed at purple, blue and white. My anxiety about competing again is probably back what it was back in the early days, whereas when I was at blue belt I had expanded my comfort zone and it didn't annoy me that much. So if you're going to take anything from this video today, know that even guys like myself who arse about on YouTube or Instagram and put up all the highlight reel, which I love to do, there's still underlying demons there that we're all trying to deal with. And yeah, even chatting to you on this video today is people walking past, walking their dogs, as if, what are you doing sitting there in your big coat with a camera pointed at your face? Putting myself out of my comfort zone and out of my comfortable little YouTube studio I have at home. So on that note, I'm going for a swim.